it's Annalise again with Music Notes. I'm here to show you the first card in this interactive card kit series. So the card we're going to make is this happy birthday card with the pivot twist insert. Really fun and dimensional. It looks complicated, but it's really quite simple, and I'll show you how. So what you'll need is the kit, which has all the paper pieces and die cuts that you'll need. You'll also have the instructions included in your kit. And it has all the supplies and dimensions if you want to recreate this card. And you can always use different papers that you might have handy. Let's take a look at what's inside the kit. So you'll have 4 rectangles here with images and sentiments stamped on. You'll also have the mechanism that you're going to fold for the inside of the card, as well as the cardstock that your images are going to attach to. And then for the front of your card, of course you have a card base, and then you have some cardstock that you can layer up, as well as little die cuts and a little balloon and a little happy birthday flag that will go in the front of your card. So those are all the pieces that you're going to need. You'll also want to have some scissors on hand just in case you need to trim anything, but mostly some adhesive. And I'm going to use a combination of liquid adhesive and also some dry adhesive. So let's get started here. Let's go ahead and do the outside of the card first, the front. So first, let's go ahead and attach your teal cardstock to the front of the card. Next, let's glue the plaid right centered on the front of the card. There's also this other side, so if you prefer that, you could definitely give that a try. I'm going to stick with the plaid today. So next, let's go ahead and get the front of the card decorated with HBD Happy Birthday and also this little balloon. So go ahead and arrange them how you want it on your card, and then you can start gluing them down. And since these are kind of small pieces, I'm actually going to use my liquid glue because I think it will be a little easier to deal with. To make sure it's centered, I'm going to actually start with the B and put that in the middle. And I'm just going to line it on top of this flag. Now I can go ahead and put the H and the D on either side of it. What's nice about the liquid glue is you can actually kind of scoot things around and make sure they're totally straight before it dries. So that's another advantage to using liquid glue for something like this. And then we're also going to take this little balloon and just go ahead and glue it on the front here. If you wanted to, you could use some foam squares to pop it up, give it a little more dimension. All right, so this is the front of my card. I'm going to set that aside to dry while I work on the inside pieces. So what we'll do for this is start with the longer rectangle, and it's already folded in half, so you'll just need to fold one panel back and the other panel back, so that way it's an accordion shape. You can always go ahead and press it with a bone folder to make sure that the creases are nice and smooth. So you'll want to make sure that the mountain, the center fold is towards you, because on the card it's also that way. So it's kind of like a W. So make sure it's like a W for you. I'm going to reinforce this fold. And so while it's that way, I'm going to start gluing on my decorative panels in this order with the woman, the tree, the sentiment, and the man. You can always mix up the order if you want, but go ahead and glue each of those down flat. So now everything is glued down. I also want to mention that these images are from a stamp set from Art Impressions. So if you love these images, you might want to grab the stamp set and stamp and color them yourselves. But for the card, to speed things along, we're focusing on the technique of how to create this mechanism. So that's why the images are already colored for you. So to prepare these to pop out, we're going to need this piece that I've already scored for you. And you'll notice it has a horizontal, a vertical, and then 2 diagonal scores. And this is meant to fold in such a way to create this mechanism inside. So I'll show you how to make that. It looks a little complicated, but it's not too bad. Let me also remind you that the instructions has all the instructions on how to score and create this piece with all the dimensions. So first, let's go ahead and fold it in half on the kind of hot dog style here. Now we're going to open it up and fold on each of the diagonal lines. Now that you have this folded in half, make it so it's like the side pieces are folding down. So here is your mountain of the horizontal fold. What we're going to do is kind of fold it closed on either side, but instead of folding it in half, pop this little triangle section down, but keep these sides folded up. And you're going to start bringing them together. So see how you have these 2 triangles now on either side, and it's kind of like these legs. So go ahead and squash it flat and score it really nicely. Make sure it's folded really well. And if you need help, I would just rewind again. So let's pretend like we haven't done anything yet. We just folded it in half and we folded it on the diagonals. I'm going to start to fold these together, but I'm going to press this down, the triangle kind of section down. Keep these folded, fold them up. Now you have a triangle on either side. You have these 2 legs that are free, and you're going to press nicely. All right, so it's a little complicated, but once you get it, it's a really cool technique that you can use over and over again. So how this is going to go is we're going to glue these triangles to the inside of our card. So go ahead and open up your card, and you're going to glue these triangles down. So this one's attached to the bottom, and this is attached to the top. And when we open it, that's when the magic's going to happen. So this is again where liquid glue is helpful because it wiggles around a little bit, and you can make sure you have it exactly where you want it. So go ahead and start to glue. You'll want to make sure that your glue doesn't seep out too much. I probably added a bit more than I needed to, but make sure that it's not going to overhang and interfere with anything else. So here's my glue. I'm going to put the tip right where the crease is, but not over the crease, and then center it on the inside of my card. I'm going to make sure it can close, and it can. And it's just really close up to the score line, and it's attached to the bottom of the card. So now let's go ahead and glue this top triangle down. I have this little extra glue to put down, and do the same thing. So carefully add some liquid glue on only the triangle. Now all we have to do is close the card, press it down, and as we open it up, these legs are coming out, and that's how we're going to attach our accordion. So again, going back to our sample, when we open it up, the booklet is going to open out, and here it is underneath this leg, and on this side it's the other leg is attached to it. So let me show you how we're going to attach them. So first you're going to want to close your booklet and then rotate it so the folds are towards the middle of the card and the open ends are out. Then we're going to attach this card in between the legs. So if the card is closed, the legs are here. Let's put the left one up and the right one down and slide our book in. And see how as the card opens, it's going to open up the booklet. And it needs to be a little bit towards the front, not too far back. All right, so now let's go ahead and get ready to glue. So again, looking at my sample, I have about an inch between the spine of the booklet to the end of the triangle. And it's going to be glued to this top portion here. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of glue as a square on the top of this leg. And go ahead and slide your booklet right here. And you'll see also that it does overhang a little bit, probably 1/4 of an inch. So now that's attached and you can see how it's starting to pull just the way it's supposed to. And now we need to do the same thing on the front side. So the right one is on the bottom and the left one's on the top. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue and just attach it to the booklet as we close the card. So here's some glue. I'm going to close the card completely, press it down, and then as I open it, it's going to twist. It's not dry yet, so it's going to probably slide, but let me just show you how it goes. Yeah, so I need to let it dry. That's just fine. So let me go ahead and close it and give it some time, and it will pop out just like this. So there you have it, a really fun pivot twist card, and easy to make. Looks a little complicated. It does take a little patience and practice, but it's super worth it because it's just a really fun surprise when you open up the card. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you snag one of these card kits for yourself. Some last minute tips I'll say is when you glue these pieces together, make sure that the booklet is as far forward as you can get it without overhanging the card. When you have it as far forward as you can, it makes it a little easier to clear the top of the card. I think that was a bit of a challenge I had this time, where when I close it, it does close, but I just need to assist it a little bit. So to avoid that pitfall, I would go ahead and I would have glued this probably 1/4 of an inch closer to the end of the card. So if you're having troubles with it, that could be some of the issues. But the liquid glue does really help. You could use any liquid glue that you have. But I would definitely recommend liquid glue to make sure you can put the pieces where you want it and have a little wiggle room of it before it actually dries. So with that, I'll go ahead and leave you with this card. We're going to go ahead into the next video for the next one. See you there.